Calgary. In his role with the Calgary Climate Hub, Joe Vipond has seen firsthand how many Calgarians have difficulty talking about climate change solutions. Even harder, recognizing the problem and analyzing what it could mean for the city's economy, which is largely fueled by the oil and gas sector. Joe Vipond, the interim chair for Calgary Climate Hub, photographed on Feb. 13, Christina Ryan, for StarMetro Calgary, but he's also been disappointed with how few climate-focused organizations are tackling the issue in Calgary, and more broadly, the lack of political leadership to meet emissions targets. Now Vipond, the Hub's interim co-chair, along with the rest of his organization, is committed to organizing more local solutions to the problems of climate change, to fill that gap and help Albertans realize this is a reality the rest of the world is coping with that Calgarians must face as well. This idea that we're going to have infinite growth in our oil and gas industry is quickly being challenged by geopolitical economic changes, Vipond said. If we just pretend that this isn't a reality that's happening around the world that's going to affect our major industry, we're going to get caught flat-footed. When a wave is coming, you don't try and stop the wave, you're not going to succeed. What you have to figure out is how to ride the wave. The Calgary Climate Hub wants to mobilize Calgarians on a local level to feel empowered to act on climate change and hold political leaders accountable as well. Their plan is to meet with neighborhoods across the city in hopes of sparking community-led environmental organization and action. Vipond comes at the issue with years of experience advocating for environmental and climate causes, also working with the Canadian Association of Physicians for the Environment. Vipond has long been frustrated with being able to count the number of climate-focused groups in Calgary on one hand, while disasters worsened by extreme weather events continue to damage his province. This could be seen in the 2013 flood in southern Alberta, where 5 people died and $6 billion in financial losses and property damage were incurred. It's also turned longer, hotter summers into more dangerous wildfire seasons in Western Canada, resulting in Calgary's air quality rating hitting 10, the worst possible score, last August, according to Environment Canada. The city of Calgary has promised in the past to lower emissions, but Vipond has been disappointed with the city's failure to do so. He pointed to the 2011 Calgary Community GHG Reduction Plan, which aimed to reduce greenhouse gas emissions 20% below 2005 levels by 2020, a target that Councillor Drew Farrell says the city has woefully underperformed against. Farrell said Calgary was on the path to being a leader on climate strategy, thanks in part to its 2011 plan and initiatives like the wind-powered C-train system and energy-efficient street lights, but quickly stalled out. We went backwards because our administration refused to acknowledge climate change in any of our reports and wasn't measuring any of our targets in any of our council-approved policies, Farrell said. You can't leave a policy to languish for a decade and then measure it 10 years later and go, oops, we need to be reporting regularly. A new, more modest climate resilience strategy passed unanimously by City Council last year brings more hope to both Vipond and Farrell. Citizen-led committees tracking the city's progress and regular reports to Calgarians are needed to ensure the strategy's success, said Farrell. And Vipond hopes his group will empower Calgarians to hold politicians to account when promises about climate action and emissions targets aren't met. The group is starting slowly, holding its first major public event last week in Hillhurst Sunnyside to a crowd of 150, with the next planned for March 22 in Marda Loop. The Hub's goal is to bring neighbors together to discuss climate change solutions, so they can take a problem that seems insurmountable and intimidating because of the damage it's already caused both in Alberta and globally, and find solutions they can act on across the city. When you look at the big picture, it's overwhelming, Vipond said. When you take it apart and deal with it one section at a time, suddenly you're having victories and everything doesn't seem so overwhelming and hopeless. You have to pare it down to small pieces in order to manage the solutions. Andrew Jeffrey is a reporter, photographer for Star Calgary. Follow him on Twitter, @Andrew_Jeffrey. Report and air journalistic standards about the start top stories, delivered to your inbox. NEWSLETTERHEADLINESSIGN up.